Namaste, good evening. Welcome everyone to this session on green periods. And today's session is going to be entirely managed by women, empowered women. So let me welcome on behalf of Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central. I'm Manoj Kabre, the president. To all of you, all the Rotarians, the guest clubs, and the friends of Rotary. And let me hand over the session to our star Rotarian Smita Kulkarni to take it forward.
Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to the session today. This is May 28th was Menstrual Hygiene Day, and basically women bleed for 5 days every 28 days, which is why 28/5, which is May 28th. That is why it is celebrated as International Menstrual Hygiene Day all across the world. And why do we need to celebrate periods? It's something that we only whisper about, specifically in India, but also in several other cultures worldwide. So for the past few years, there's an increased emphasis on talking about it, on normalizing periods in general, and specifically on re-looking at our period care options. So that is what the session is about today. And Nisha Belare, Dr. Meenakshi Bharath, and myself have been part of a campaign called Green the Red, which has been running for the past, I would say, 5 to 6 years, and talking about it. And we are so happy that it has reached far and wide. Earlier it was just like about 7 or 9 members in that campaign, but now it is like can't even count. We have representatives across India, across world, talking about this, and there are even more people beyond this campaign. It's just like snowballed. So this is going to be the agenda today. I'll initially introduce about Jnana Vaividya, and then we'll hand over to our speaker, and then we'll introduce our chief guest, and we'll take questions and answers also. So Jnana Vaividya basically means diversity of knowledge, translated in English. So we've been having, this is 2.0. The 1.0 session, which happened, a series of sessions that happened last year, covered a lot of different vocations and different kinds of topics. This time we've been primarily focused on environment and health, considering the pandemic and everyone, suddenly sustainability has come to the fore. So most of our sessions, whether it was composting or plant-based food or about recycling, everything has been around the environment. And usually what is good or bad for the environment is also good or bad for the health. They're all interconnected in some ways. So even today's session is a mix of both environment and health focus. Among other things, Rotary Bangalore Whitefield West has done a program in 2019, early 2019, under the leadership of Rotarian Bharat Pubiya, which was distribution of 200 period kits to the children of Adugodi government school. And soon after that, the pandemic took over and the schools were closed. And most of the government schools have been receiving disposable sanitary pads under the Suchi scheme by the central government. And since schools are closed, so the supply of pads is also closed. So there were a lot of articles on how the girls are suffering. They don't have access to period care, blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, these 200 girls continue to have access to period care options because they've been using reusables. It is not something that, they can use and throw. So it will last at least 3 to 4 years. So I just wanted to highlight this project. This is something that we're really, really proud of. So I invite Rotarian Rotractor Nandini, sorry, to introduce our speaker today. Nandini. Nandini, you need to unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hi
Yes,
Nandini.
hello, ma'am. Hello. So I'll be introducing the speaker for the day, Dr. Meenakshi Bharath. Dr. Meenakshi Bharath is an alumni of St. Joseph's Medical College, a gynecologist and a fertility specialist with 40 years of experience. She has been an ardent green warrior championing the cause for segregation, composting, and sustainable living. She is an active member of Solid Waste Management Roundtable. She feels strongly for the sustainable menstruation movement and has been a leader in spreading the word among doctors, women, and government bodies across the world. She is a senior Rotarian and was instrumental in getting Rotary International to activate an action group dedicated to menstrual hygiene. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Nandini.
Thank you, ma'am.
Meenakshi, you have a presentation?
Yes, I do. You need to give me screen sharing.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you very much, Rotary Whitefield Central, for the opportunity. Like I said, 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to come and meet some of your members, the lady members, and we were, instrumental in teaching these 200 girls and distributing the cloth pads to them. And I think you have to go back for a check and find out how happy they have been using these things. So, in last year, April, we started this Rotary Action Group for Menstrual Health and Hygiene. And this year, March 3rd, it was, accepted by the Rotary International. They gave us the RAG status, and we are actually delighted. And we've done fair amount of good work, fair amount of lobbying across the country. We've met people in Africa, we've met people in Argentina, we've met people in the US, Canada, we've met people this side, except for Australia, I think. We have met a lot of Southeast Asian, Malaysia, and other places. And it's been a wonderful journey. And Nisha has been very instrumental in getting in touch with a lot of these people. We've had great meetings, and thank you everybody for the wonderful opportunity. So, happy periods are what we are talking about, and it can only happen when you are sustainable. I'm so sad that I missed out on it. I'm 63 years old and I don't have the opportunity. My uterus shut down long ago, and so I can't use these wonderful solutions anymore. So the two solutions that we're going to talk about is cloth pads and menstrual cups. Cloth pad is old and menstrual cup is also old, but cloth pad is really, really old. Generations have used cloth pads, but there were small hitches in the cloth pad which have now been rectified. So I call it the new avatar cloth pad. And what it does is no rash, no cash, and no trash. So if we women do not talk about it and men don't spread the message, then how are people going to get it? Because there's no advertising power in the two products. They don't have money to advertise. They cannot get those wonderful film actresses to come and prance around and say, I use these pads and therefore I am comfortable. I can even wear white clothes. How can you wear white clothes? You can't wear white clothes. So we'll tell you all about it. So 336 million menstruating women in India, and with only 36% using it, we have a 17,000 crore industry in India. So no wonder they have so much money to have these sexy actresses come and campaign for them. So when we look at ourselves, 65 days in a year, we are getting our periods. And there is no research that has been done because the pad making industry doesn't want any research about it, because if research takes up, then they will be in deep trouble. So very few people, and research is always funded by somebody. So the pad manufacturing companies don't want to do any research at all. Evolution of pads. Pads have gone this way. This is what I started using in 1970. And in 1990, when these pads came out, I said, wow, kya acha pad hai. And they even have a plastic cover to put it in. At that point, I was still not eco-conscious. It got me to be, 2008 before I was eco-conscious, and realized how much of garbage I had produced. Close to 6,000 pads I would have used in my lifetime. And of course, I missed out on the menstrual cup. 2019, National Geographic turned around and carried an article which said that the pads are 95% plastic. And if they are 95% plastic, they will remain on Earth forever and ever. They will only become tinier microplastics, get eaten by the fish and other organisms, and one day land up on our plate. I'm waiting for the day when, carrots will come with a little bit of um, microplastic in it. Fish has already come with microplastic in it. So if we want to save ourselves and not destroy ourselves, we need to use less and less of disposables and more reusables. When you look at cloth pads, when we look at our plastic pad, this is the plastic pad that I'm talking about. We will say it is convenient. We thought thin with wings was wow. It's leak proof, so it doesn't stain our clothes. And because it was nice and virgin white, we thought it was hygienic. But in actuality, it's anything but hygienic. The pad stinks to high heavens. When we have our periods, our bathrooms are stinking, our dustbins are stinking, and when they're thrown outside our house, the area around our house is also stinking. It's non-biodegradable, cannot be reused, recycled, and this pad has got a capacity. If it is 1 millimeter thick, it can bloat to 3 centimeters, that is 30 times when it is thrown into water. That is why they say that this pad can absorb all the water of the lake. But do we actually bleed like a lake, or do we actually bleed Ganga Jamuna? No, we don't bleed like a lake or Ganga Jamuna at all. So the impact on our health is enormous, which we don't think about because there is nothing written on the pad cover that says these are the ingredients that go to make this pad. So imagine that your car tire styrene that is used for your car tire is part of the pad, chlormethane is part of the pad, acetone is part of the pad, and thermocol is part of the pad. My God, I wouldn't want to be wearing that, but I didn't know that 13 years ago. And all these things produce allergic rash. I only knew about the allergic rash. Endocrine disruption. 2010, I became hypothyroid. And I believe that's one of the side effects of using those disposable sanitary napkins. I haven't yet got cancer, but that may be around the corner. I don't know when that will come. But if so, then we know where it all sprung from. So effects of disposable sanitary pads and tampons are a lot of rash. When I used to finish my 36-hour duties, I used to walk sideways because the rash was so bad on the inner side of the thigh that we didn't even want to walk, let alone run or go anywhere else. And 36-hour duties in the delivery wards is not funny at all. Bulge of the pads is what is visible to the younger generation, but they have such a lovely product that if they don't use that product, they're only ill-treating themselves. And tampon is not the product that we are talking about. Tampon does not have any sensor on it, which will say that we, absorb only blood. It absorbs the vaginal secretions also, which are the normal secretions. Now, the vagina is like the mouth, a wonderful organ which can absorb anything that is kept in the mouth, anything that is kept in the vagina, gets immediately absorbed into the bloodstream and goes to the uterus first, and then goes to the other parts of the body. So like we put the nitroglycerine tablet When we are getting a heart attack, we are asked to put that nitroglycerin tablet in our cheek. The same thing, that it gets absorbed fast. Lot of the drugs that we want to act on the uterus are put into the vagina so that it gets absorbed fast and acts quickly. Tampons also run the risk of what is called as the toxic shock syndrome, because the bacteria grows on the tampon, and if you forget and leave it behind, which you should not do, then you can land up with this toxic shock syndrome, which is high fever and low BP and a whole lot of things. So when they had these super absorbent tampons in the late 1990s, they pulled it out of the market because they were increasing the sort of morbidity that was there for young girls. Abdominal pain is a common problem, and vulval dermatitis is also a common problem that actually vanishes if you use the reusable products. Toxic shock syndrome, as I told you, is what was associated with the tampons. It is reduced now because the manufacturers put out that thing that you need to remove the tampons once in 6 to 8 hours and change it. Very expensive the tampons are. So if you look at the health analysis comparison, rashes, foul odor, itching, contact dermatitis, toxic shock syndrome, urinary tract infection, everything comes with the disposable products. So then why are we actually taking these disposable products when we have two wonderful products for the two different ages that we belong to? The first is the adolescent age group, and then is the adult woman's age group. Incineration was touted as the one way of getting rid of these pads. Burn anything. We burn anything. Leaves fall in Jan, Feb, March, we will burn the leaves and create a whole lot of, smoke and smog. Delhi is, of course, famous for it, and they blame Haryana for it. So when we burn, we think we are able to get rid of it, not realizing that the gases are emitted, and these gases can be quite harmful for all of us. And so incinerators were given by a lot of people over the last 10, 15 years to burn away these pads so that they are not lying around everywhere. So this is what we tried to do. Impact on the economics is something that we just didn't consider. Single-use disposables. How many of us have used paper cups? Once we started working on garbage, we completely stopped paper cups. We would carry our own cups. And I'm not against plastic, but I'm against single-use disposable plastics. This cup has been with me for 20 years, and we continue to use it without any hassles. But don't use anything single-use disposable. So think before you buy and think before you throw. That is what we need to do. So think before. Next time after this, if you're going to the pharmacy and buying a packet of disposable sanitary napkins for yourself or for your wife or your daughter, it means that jo bhi humne bola, fayda nahi hua. So I'm hoping that all of you will turn around and not buy another single-use disposable anything, be it a straw, be it a paper cup, be it a plastic, be it the single-use disposable sanitary napkin or the tampon. Period poverty is a manufactured problem. We are so hung up that this is the only hygienic product that is good for our bodies, is therefore we don't have the money to buy it. And this is not only in India, it is across the world. It's in England, it's in the European countries, it is in America. Period poverty is a manufactured problem. Women do not have money to buy these single-use disposables, and therefore they don't have supposedly hygienic periods. But at the end of this lecture, I'll tell you, Rotary can lead the way to remove period poverty from the face of the earth. The same way that Rotary has led the way to remove polio from the face of the earth. So if Rotary can do polio, Rotary can definitely remove period poverty by campaigning with all its different programs for, sustainable menstruation. So if you compare the cost analysis, each of these pads will cost you 8 rupees. The cloth pad set will cost you 300 to 400 rupees, which will last you 2 to 3 years. And the menstrual cup will cost anything between 800 to 1000 rupees, and that will last you 10 years. So if you look at the average cost, disposable sanitary napkins over 10 years will cost about 10,000 rupees. Cloth pads will cost about 3,000 rupees, and menstrual cup will cost you 1,000 rupees. So if you just look at the cost analysis, menstrual cup costs you 90% less than the disposable sanitary napkins. So that will not give any period poverty. People will be able to afford it, and they will be able to buy it without any problems. What's the impact on the environment? Bangalore produces 100,000 kgs of sanitary waste a day, and it all goes to the landfill. And when it goes to the landfill, and the rainy season starting now, the landfill will soak in all the water. It will soak through the pads and then take all the juices of the pads down into the groundwater. And then from the groundwater, it's going to come back with up the bore well, and then we are going to be drinking that water. Thankfully, Mother Earth has got enough filters for us to have filtered a lot of these toxins away from it, but still groundwater will be contaminated with these disposable sanitary napkins. All right. Where does it go? Diseases, open dump yards, burnt whenever that pile becomes too high, they will set fire to it. There is mixed waste and unhygienic conditions for the handlers, and then blocked drains. Most of the high-rise buildings, most of the colleges, most of the hospitals have blocked drains because these pads, because they expand 1:30, will expand into the drain and block the drain. And then we have to have these safai karmacharis who need to go inside and manually clean the drains. So that's a horrible condition. This is what happens, and there are ever so many people who lose their life because they have gone into the drain and there are toxic fumes there. What's the disposal analysis? This menstrual cup costs you is 15 grams. This cup is only 15 grams weight and lasts you 10 years, while sanitary pads will be 30 kgs. Where is the comparison between 15 grams and 30 kgs? There is absolutely no comparison. So it's a win-win situation if you use the menstrual cup. So sustainable solutions are what we are talking about, what we are looking forward to, and what we are saying women need to use. Now, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when the gas cylinder was given with a subsidy to people who couldn't buy, how did the women on the ground change from kerosene stoves to gas cylinders? They changed to gas cylinders because it's faster cooking, easier cooking. The vessel never became full of soot. The food didn't stink of kerosene. I was one of those. When I was 10-year-old, my mother used to cook on a kerosene stove, and hamara khana used to always smell of kerosene. When the gas cylinder came, they changed. Across the country, they changed. This is the equivalent of the gas cylinder for us. It is the smartphone equivalent for us. If we can use the smartphone, and smartphones are used across the country, if we can use the smartphone, if we can use the gas cylinder, then we can learn to use the menstrual cup and the cloth pad. Now, cloth pad is really only in the first 10 years from the time we attain menarche. From menarche at 10 to 12 to 18 years, that's all we need to use the cloth pad for. And the other time that we need to use the cloth pad for is post-delivery, because the menstrual cup cannot hold the blood post-delivery. But from 18 or marriage to menopause, those 30 years, we use 3 of these cups. If we use 3 of these cups, then there is absolutely no problem. 15 into 3, 45 grams of waste, as against close to 100 kgs of waste. Talk about the money, close to 30 to 40,000 rupees, as against 3,000 rupees. So it's a win-win situation in every way. Why are we still hesitating? Hopefully, none of you will hesitate after this lecture. Solution one is cloth pads. Oh God, my grandmother used to use the cloth pad and it was so yucky. It was not nice at all. The cloth pad got itself a bad name because the disposable pad industry came in and said that, cloth pad is not healthy, cloth pad creates cancer. They came out with all that. And because we had this thing of shame of periods, we used to hang these pads not out in the sun, or even if we put it in the sun, we would put one more towel over it. So cloth pads had no leak proof material behind it, so it used to stain our clothes. It used to produce infection because we used to wear damp cloth pads, and it was said to be unhygienic. It was never unhygienic. My grandmother had 13 children. She never got any reproductive tract infection, and she lived till 1991, to the age of 91, without any problems. So where did this infection come from that we are all harping about? The new pads are now purpose made. The new pads have a leak proof material behind it. There is a lovely PUL material that is there that goes to make the leak proof material. And these are all Cora cotton. So anybody can use it. And this is all new material, not old material, not torn material, not stinky material. We are all the time talking about, women are using ash, women are using straw for their periods. I don't know where they are. We are now talking about giving the younger girls, the adolescent girls from age 11 to age 19, lovely pads. So Nisha's group, that is the Gramalakshmi with Ramakrishna, produces these pads, and they empower women, and they're doing a good job across Rajan Kunte. Smita is doing a great job with producing these Ladli pads, and they are available for all of you to buy and distribute. So when you go to do the wash program and the teach program, please provide this also for a cost of 300 rupees per child. 300 rupees per child will take the child across for 3 years without having any period poverty problems. So that's what I request all of you to do. Washing is so easy. I can't understand. So I was seeing that wonderful video as to why Japanese children are so, well-mannered, why Japanese children are so clean. That is because they are taught all this early in school. Now, it's our duty as parents to teach our children how to be clean and hygienic, not how to be sterile, how to be clean and hygienic. So we need to do that. And sorry, 1 second. So what we need to do is to teach them how to wash these pads. After all, these girls who are 12, 13 are going to leave the mother's house within 5 to 6, 8 years, get married, go into a new house, and she's not going to be able to take her pad and say, Sasu ji, aap mera pad dho ke dijiye. Finish, the Sasu will have a complete convulsion. So therefore, teach them how to wash these pads. All you have to do is to soak it in water for 10 to 15 minutes, squeeze the pad out, the blood comes out, put it into the pot, wash it, and hang it out in the sun. And thankfully for us, unlike Alaska, we don't have any problems with sun. We have sun nearly 365 days of the year. Menstrual cups are more than 100 varieties that are available across across the country, and we have every size and shape. We really need only one size. We don't need multiple sizes. It was discovered, it was not discovered, it was invented in 1937, but because that was some product that would have, not had the pad industry earning so much money. It's like the Ford and the Chrysler. They cut down mass rapid transport in the US so that individual cars would be bought and they would guzzle petrol. So the same reason we have here for this cup not becoming popular. Earlier, I would have then had the opportunity to use it, but we are now making sure that it will get popular and period poverty will be removed. It's made of platinum cured medical grade silicone. It's a wonderful product. It is similar to all the medical products that we use. If I have a heart stent, it will be made of platinum cured medical grade silicone. If I use a catheter, that is what it will be made of. Feeding bottles are made of, nipples are made of the same. So it is not in any way harmful to the body. It just collects the blood. It doesn't absorb the blood. So the blood will come down from the uterine cavity and get collected here. And after 5 to 6 hours or 8 hours, we will pinch it, pull it out, drop the blood, and the blood doesn't stink. Unlike the pad, the blood doesn't stink, and it will go back again. Just wash it with water. No soap is necessary at all. This forms a lovely seal. The vagina is usually flat like this. When this cup goes inside, it forms a seal, and so it opens, and there is no leakage of blood that happens. So there is no chance of staining your clothes that you're wearing. All right. Tampon users can shift to it because they don't have the scare of inserting anything into the vagina. Women who are married don't have any scare of putting anything to the vagina because they have intercourse. So there is no problem with that. Learning to use the cup is a learning curve. Everything is a learning curve. Making biryani is a learning curve. Learning to use the mobile phone is a learning curve. Learning to use the Zoom platform is a learning curve. Learning to use the cup is a learning curve. But it takes a maximum of 3 to 5 days out of the 65 days in a year. And then after that, 60 days you will be comfortable, and 2,400 days you will be comfortable. It is so wonderful. Learn to use, squat to use it, and use it in the bathroom of your area. Okay. Cleaning is another thing that everybody is hung up about. Do I need to boil this? Do I need to sterilize it? I have only one question. If you use boiling water and if you sterilize your partner before you have intercourse, then you need to do this. The vagina is an unsterile organ. Like the mouth, it's an unsterile organ, and you don't need to do anything. Just wash it with water and use it. You will not land up with any infection because the vagina has its own system of keeping it clean. It doesn't need any assistance from human beings. So just wash it with plain water and keep it in a cloth pouch between periods. And where do you keep this cup? For me, you keep it with your jewelry because it's more important. Jewelry दिखाने के लिए है, दूसरों को दिखाने के लिए है, ये अपने को पहनने के लिए है. So keep it with your jewelry where you will find it whenever your next period starts. All right. What are the advantages? The advantages are many. It's easy to use, squeaky clean, requires very little water to clean, especially in the various drought-ridden parts of our country. It doesn't require anything. And today, there was this article that came in the Deccan Herald, which said in the flood-prone areas of Assam, the lady was distributing sanitary pads during the rain and during the flood. What happens to your pad? Your pad gets wet, and then it doesn't soak any of the blood any of the period blood that is coming out. This cup is the best thing that you can do. When the Madras floods happened 6 years ago, I told Rotary, don't give disposable sanitary napkins, give cups. Yes, they will learn it in an emergency, They will learn it, they will use it, they will love it. But it is catching up now. I'm so happy that our incoming president, Rotary International president, is taking this up as a big, project of Rotary. And there are millions of women who are delighted so that the period poverty will go out. No trash created, not necessary to wear a panty, and reduction in the abdominal cramps is also happening. You don't have to worry about removing it to pass urine and stools. No leakage at all. You can sleep in any direction, whether you are sleeping on your back, or you're sleeping on your side, or you're sleeping on your stomach. The vacuum suction around the cup remains there, so you don't have to worry about it. But like Amitabh Bachchan says, पहले इस्तेमाल करो फिर विश्वास करो. अगर इस्तेमाल ही नहीं करोगे तो विश्वास कहाँ से आएगा? So all women, पहले इस्तेमाल करो फिर विश्वास करो. Not affected by rain, and it doesn't even feel. So women who use it feel like they are liberated from the period problem. I had to wait for my menopause to come to be liberated from the period problem, but you can be liberated from the period problem by just wearing the menstrual cup. All right. Every woman can use it. The mosquito doesn't differentiate between a rich and a poor man, an educated and an uneducated man. The mosquito bites everybody. This menstrual cup is good for every woman of any strata. So it is like the mosquito. No discrimination at all. It's comfortable for everybody, affordable for everybody, and no trash at all created. So what are we doing? Win, win, and win. And you can do every activity: swimming, carrying heavy loads on your head, anything you can do, all activities. Trek up the Kilimanjaro, you can do that too without worrying about your periods. What are the frequently asked questions? So we have to understand, pandemic came and we said, wash your hand, wash your hand. The virus didn't go away with washing your hand. So there's something called hygiene and something called sterility. Sterility is what we do when we are trying to open up the abdomen and work inside sterile circumstances. It is to get rid of all the infection that is on the skin before we cut open to the sterile areas of our body. But there are lots of areas of our body that are unsterile. Hygiene is just to get rid of all the dirt and the mud and the things that are stuck inside under our nails. That is hygiene. So that's what we need to do. Non-sterile parts of our body, the mouth is a non-sterile area. The nose is a non-sterile area. And down below, we have the rectum and the vagina, which is non-sterile. The bladder is a sterile area. So by the time you go up into the uterus, it is sterile. But this vagina is completely unsterile. Sex is one of the most unsterile acts that we all perform without worrying on what surface we are sleeping, where we are doing it. Who should use the menstrual cup? Every woman should use the menstrual cup, especially if you're more than 19 or 20. And married women are like this mango, low hanging fruit. You can use it immediately because you have no inhibitions of inserting something inside your vagina. So don't worry about it. If you can deliver a baby with a coconut-sized head, you can put in this Nimbu-sized menstrual cup without any problems. And to put it in, you have to actually reduce the diameter of the insertion. Now it is the size of a mumpali. If it is the size of a groundnut, why are you worried about inserting it inside? Absolutely no problem. So learn to insert it inside. You will find your own techniques, your own ways, but for guidance, we are all there. We are all there to guide you how to use it and enjoy your periods. Can virgins use it? If the mother of the virgin girl is using it, then I have no objections, because the mother will have no objections. She knows how wonderful it is. But first, it must be the mother, because if the girl is 16-year-old, the mother will be maximum of a 40-year-old. The mother won't be menopausal, won't be 50-year-old. So if the mother uses the cup, then she can instruct the child to using it without any problems. So the hymen is a big issue about a little tissue. It's all about 1 centimeter square, and there is a hole in it already, because before we become sexually active, we actually start our periods. The periods, blood comes out. How much do we bleed? No Ganga, Jamuna, no Brahmaputra we bleed. We bleed 4 tablespoons. This is a peg measure. We bleed a peg measure. That's all that we bleed. So don't get harassed that you are, oh my God, aaj period shuru ho gaya, Ganga, Jamuna beh raha hai. Kuch nahi behega. And this cup is so wonderful that it holds 15 to 20 ml. This pad holds only 5 ml. So if you use the cup, you will have less frequent removals than with the pad, disposable pad. So don't worry about it at all. Actually very good for heavy periods also. But if you are 40-year-old and having heavy periods, please go to the gynecologist or come to somebody like me, and we will stop those heavy periods, because that's not the way how menopause goes. Can we use it with the copper tea? Yes, we can. Are there any other reasons to not use the menstrual cup? There are actually no reasons not to use the menstrual cup. So just don't find excuses, use it, and then you call me back and tell me, doctor, you transformed my life. That's what I'm waiting for. All right. When you're lying down, will the blood that is collected in this cup go back? No, this is like there's one-way roads. This is like the MG road. You can only go from Kumble Circle to, Brigade Road. You can't come back in the reverse direction here. So it is a one-way road. And when you start using the cup, I give it to all girls who get married. When you start using the cup, then your period is now a private affair. The pharmacy man doesn't know that you're getting your periods, because you're not going to buy the pad box. It's not being wrapped in a black plastic bag or paper bag. You come back home, you keep it in your cupboard, then you need to use it. Your bathroom is stinking, your husband is turning his nose up, and then when you have to carry it out, then your mother-in-law knows it, the Power Karmika knows it. None of this happens. This is so private, and that is the dignity that a woman wants to have. And if you have a dog, then the dog is chasing you because the dog can smell the blood. Here, the dog doesn't know you're having a period. So your dog is quite happy without chasing you around. So in conclusion, what's your role? Your role is, as Rotarians, each one of us needs to shift to using the menstrual cup. Don't miss this wonderful opportunity. It's like now saying that, I want an electric car, I want an automatic car, because it's so comfortable to use this. This is now like an automatic car. It is so comfortable to use that you don't even figure out that you are having, you even forget your own periods. So you have to put an alarm on your telephone to remind you that after 12 hours, please take the cup out, wash it, drop the blood, wash it, reuse it, and put it back again. And it reduces your periods by 1 day, because the last day of spotting doesn't even happen. So only advantages. There are no disadvantages. I'm a gynecologist and I haven't found any. All right, we need to change the attitude of people towards menstruation, remove the shame. If there is no bleeding, there is no shame. There was a lovely ad that there was an old man walking behind a student whose dress had got stained. So he was carrying the gamcha or whatever, the towel on his shoulder. He gave it to her and said, you wrap it around and go. That won't happen, because 99% of the time, the cup doesn't leak. So there you are, advantage, advantage, and advantage. All right. Peer pressure. If you tell your friend, then she will believe you more than my telling your friend. So therefore, use it. Reduce 90% of the expenditure, avoid 95 to 99% of the garbage, and 100% more comfortable. So it's a no rash, no cash, no trash program. How do you spread the word? First, you need to use it. Then you need to talk to everybody. I, for one, talk to anybody and everybody. Every time I fly, if that, air hostess has 5 minutes where she's drinking her cup of coffee, out comes this cup from my bag, and I will show it to her and say, are you using this? No, ma'am, I haven't heard about this. Then I give her my card, the card that I made for my son's wedding, which went with the tambula for everybody, the card which said, why must you use a menstrual cup? So that's what it is. Influence the government and the NGOs to remove the tax on the reusable menstrual products, not on the disposable menstrual products, because the disposable menstrual products produce trash that the government needs to deal with. With the WASH and the TEACH programs, you start, training people to understand what is sustainable menstruation, and stop giving uh, incinerators and dispensing the pad dispensers. Please, for heaven's sake, when you do a pad dispenser, that child has to give 5 rupees, or the adult has to give 5 rupees, put a 5 rupee coin, and then she gets a pad. Here we are saying at the end of a period, you would have spent 10 rupees. At the end of a period, we would have spent 50 to 150 rupees. So why are we doing this? Don't do it. It's good money that you as Rotarians and we as Rotarians have collected, and allowing it to go down the drain. Totally down the drain. Waste of good money. We can do better. This is my favorite gift. Anytime I have to give any gift, this is the gift that I give, a menstrual cup, especially for new brides. Otherwise, I don't give any gift, but now I give a menstrual cup for everybody, and they're the most delighted. They have, this is one gift that they will never part with. And whether they are, the cleaning women or the women who work for us, every person gets this as a gift. 4-way test of Rotary. Is it the truth that I'm saying? Yes, it is. Is it fair to all concerned? Yes, it is. Even to the men, it is fair, because you're saving so much of money. And then, of course, you have a non-stinking bathroom. Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Of course. All the women, we want more women to join Rotary. It will build, better friendship and goodwill, and benefit the world. 50% of the women will be benefited, which means that you have a period poverty free world. So what's the way forward? I've already said it. Let us provide washable cloth pads for girls in school, and let us provide the menstrual cup, or talk about it. Everybody can buy it. I'm sure they can buy it. So let's eradicate period poverty from this earth. So on behalf of the Rotary Action Group, Menstrual Health and Hygiene, break the silence and eradicate period poverty. It's in your hands to do it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Meenakshi. The mosquito one was a new one. So I've been a cup user for the past 8 years, and like she said, everyone who's using it is standing on the rooftop and screaming about it, and that's the only way that the word on this has spread. We would like to take a few questions before we move on to the next part. I'm going to read some of the questions which are there on the chat window. One is, any brands of cloth pads and menstrual cup that you recommend?
So we have a group called Green the Red, and Green the Red has a website, greenthered.in. Please go there. You will get the various brands. But remember, if you want to buy a nice sari, and a nice cotton sari at that, you need to pay the money for it. You can't buy the 100 rupee thing and expect it to be looking gorgeous on you. The same way, you need to put some money into your menstrual cup, which is going to last you 10 years. So if it's 1,000 rupees, it means it's a good quality menstrual cup. And when you divide it by 10 years, it's 100 rupees a year, and divided by 12, it is 8 rupees. So it's not expensive. It's a down front money that you have to pay. You go to the sari wala, the sari wala will not give you the sari unless you pay the full money. So उसी हिसाब से आप भी get good quality stuff, not low quality stuff.
So can they not use cup right from Menarche? I think you already answered that they can use if they have a family member to mentor, preferably the mother or any trusted woman who's already using the cup.
पहले आप इस्तेमाल करो ना, then ask your daughter. Everybody says, can my 14-year-old daughter use it?
No, because the daughters are actually hearing about it and they're pestering their mothers.
Okay.
So usually the young ones are the ones who really want to try new things. You know, the older women are all set. They don't want to change. जैसा भी है, जो भी rash है, जो भी है, soft है, super soft है, ultra soft है, we figured out which brand works for us, and they are very hesitant to change. It's the young generation who's really looking for, you know, better alternatives.
I hope the older generation also enjoys it, not misses that joy like me.
Any other questions? Please do type. Lot of love falling in, coming your way, Meenakshi, through the chat. A lot of
Thank
people,
you.
they love your presentation, the way of talking.
The only way to reach other people is talk. जैसे मैंने बोला ना, I was flying back from Dharamshala, and there was this Norwegian lady or somebody who was sitting next to me. So as usual, I pulled out the cup and I showed it to her. Then she said, I have a daughter and a daughter-in-law. Do you have this product in you? So out came the other bag which I had, and I had 2 cups that were there. She paid the money for me in dollars, which was some $10 or $12. And she went away with a gift, which I'm sure her daughters and daughters-in-law would love it. So I say, you got to talk. You have to be ready to talk. You have to be ready to talk to anybody. At the Rotary convention, we were going in the train in Hamburg. And when I was going in the train in Hamburg, Bharat was sitting next to me. There was a couple sitting on the opposite side. The man had nothing to do, so he was looking around. So I took out my cup and I started showing it to him. The wife is sitting next door and saying, तुम कप के बारे में बोलोगे क्या? He's looking and giving dirty looks to the man. The man is happily listening to what I was saying. So talk and talk more.
Sorry, 2 more questions. How to identify the cup quality?
I told you, no, the price is the one that identifies the cup quality. Also make sure that the cup is nice and soft. Maybe Nisha and Smita can answer that better than me.
Nisha?
Yes, there are various varieties of cups. We manufacture them. So I can very safely say that go for the cups with, say, platinum cured silicone rubber. They're the safest to use. There are a lot of China cheapies that come in, which are available on the net for 100 and 150. We are not sure what material is being used. It could even be TPE, which is a little harder. So medical grade silicone rubber cups are the safest to use, like Dr. Meenakshi said.
Yeah, and also look for country of origin to be India.
Yes, made in India. Yes, Smita.
Made in India.
Yes, made in India. Absolutely.
And one more, does the cup need to be removed before sexual intercourse? Meenakshi?
Hello. Can you not wait for those 5 days?
No.
There is only this much space inside. And this much space inside is sitting occupied by a cup. Kya jaldi hai? That's my answer.
You need to remove the cup before intercourse.
Yeah, please don't do that. I know I said the coconut head shaped head comes out of the vagina, but it is starred uncomfortable for the woman, and it will be uncomfortable for the man too.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had 100 people here.
100
people attending this program. So 100 people need to go back home and talk about it to everybody. Talk to your mother-in-law, talk to whomsoever is there that you come into contact with, and transform 100 into 100. That's a 10,000 people who will get transformed in this coming month.
Yay! Yes.
How good are you as a salesperson? You have to test it out.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, everyone in Rotary is a change maker, and really, like she said, hope it goes viral. So I would like to move on and invite Anne Ruchi Ashutosh Mehra to kindly introduce our chief guest today, Rotarian Nisha Billari.
Thank you, Smita. It's my pleasure today to introduce our chief guest, Ms. Nisha Billari, a motivated and committed individual with over 10 years of experience as an environmental activist. Nisha joined Rotary in 2015 and has been a pioneer in inducting the Menstrual Health and Hygiene Management Program in Rotary District 3190. She has demonstrated excellence in engaging general public and various stakeholders around sustainable menstrual hygiene practices while tactfully navigating cultural differences. Rotarian Nisha has reached out to 12,000 girls and women in the past 6 years as the Menstrual Hygiene Program Management Chair for Rotary District 3190. Her vision is to approach menstruation holistically by including overall wellness, body, mind, and nutrition. Her mission is to ensure every girl and woman enjoys safe and comfortable period which leaves a positive impact on the environment. To make menstruation an inclusive program for all genders and the differently abled. Rotarian Nisha Billari was instrumental in setting up the first Griha Lakshmi of Rotary, District 3190 in December 2019, a self-help group where 4 ladies were trained to stitch reusable cloth pads, popularly known in Rotary as the Aram cloth pads. During her tenure as Menstrual Health and Hygiene Management Chair, she has rolled out a rural program in 7 villages in Rajan Kunte. The program is aptly called Rupandhara, which means transformation. The program has benefited 350 ladies and girls and was rolled out with the help of 12 trained local volunteers. Rajan Kunte has saved about 1,50,000 single-use napkins from being dumped into the landfills with the Rupandhara program. She has conducted training programs for multiple Rotary clubs across India from cities such as Goa, Kolkata, Tumkur, Hyderabad, and for international clubs from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Malaysia. Rotarian Nisha Billari is the president-elect for her home club Rotary Bengaluru Platinum City for the year 2021 and 22. Welcome Ms. Nisha to our elite Whitefield Rotary Club, Bangalore.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for that warm words of introduction. It's a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be here today to listen to my pet subject, green periods, by one of my favorite speakers, Dr. Meenakshi Bharath. Good evening to everyone. I can see Rotarian PM Radhakrishna. Thank you so much for the trust in me and helping me set up the first Brahma Lakshmi. Thank you, President Rotarian Manoj Kabre, for inviting me here today. It's an honor to be here and to listen to everyone. And hello, Smita. Lovely to be on the same platform. And I'm glad that you've joined Rotary, and we'll be working in this field together, making it bigger, bolder, and better. So looking forward to working with all of you here. I remember meeting Dr. Meenakshi 10 years back during an orientation program, I think on the solid waste management processes. And I remember being floored, and I continue to be in awe. I could see so many of you smiling with her witty one-liners, and I must have heard her, I think, over 100 times, but she doesn't stop to amaze me with how she can just bring in wit and humor into a mundane topic like menstruation. So it's always a pleasure to listen to her. About the Rupandhara program, yes, we've been known as 3190 district has been known as the district of implementers, because all of us have just been talking about earlier have been talking about what we should do, but here we have rolled out a program called Rupandhara in those 7 villages, and Ruchi just read out the statistics. One learning that I would like to share with you from the Rupandhara thing is that cloth pad is not an alien concept to these women, especially in the rural area. They take to it very easily, especially when you tell them that it has a leak-proof layer, and the design that Dr. Meenakshi was talking about, it ensures privacy. Nobody knows it's a period cloth. So how do we get these people to convince? The first thing, like Dr. Meenakshi always says, is be the change you wish to see. पहले इस्तेमाल करो, फिर विश्वास करो. So I request all the lady Rotarians here and the Rotractors to please switch over to a cloth pad or a menstrual cup first. We need to be the change makers so that we can be convinced and we can take this message across to many other people who are not aware. So with this, I would like to do the duty that I have been invited here for. Yes, can I have the screen a little bigger if it's not a problem? Oh, let me just.
You want me to zoom in?
If you can, please, Asmita.
Okay, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me just wear my glasses. I think that's better. All right. So this is a very honorable moment for me, Dr. Meenakshi, and a privileged moment for me. Rotary District 3190 and Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central jointly bestow Rotary Vocational Excellence Award to Dr. Meenakshi Bharath, the gynecologist and fertility specialist, who's a project director for the Rotary Action Group of Menstrual Health and Hygiene, in recognition of excellence achieved in her chosen field of vocation and contributing to the good of the society. For Nyan Vaividya on 2nd of June, 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nisha.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
hope somebody is taking photographs.
I know, it's such a,
Otherwise, just go back to the screen at the back, one screen back.
Yes. Okay. Disha, you act like you're presenting, and Meenakshi, you're
Already in your inbox, Dr. Meenakshi.
Sorry?
This is already in your inbox.
Oh, thank you.
नहीं पर देने और लेने का मैं एक फोटो ले लेती हूँ.
Rita, we must share this in Green the Red group. The 3 of us over here.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm also there.
Hey, Asta.
Asta is also
Hi,
there.
Asta. Yes, hi,
Hi,
Asta.
ma'am.
Lovely to
Hi,
see
Asta,
you.
where are you?
1 second, ma'am. I look a little ugly. I just switch on my video camera.
Nobody looks ugly.
We used to take sessions. Always we used to go wearing some kind of green and red every time we went for these sessions.
Yeah.
We also had a Hindi at those times.
And those earrings. Lovely.
So I invite.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you. I trust that was for me.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it was for you. And congratulations, Sunisha, ma'am, for the president-elect.
Thank you. Thank you, Asta.
I invite Rotractor Rufina, another active Rotractor from Rotary Rotract Palmville, to give the vote of thanks today.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, congratulations, Dr. Meenakshi, on your award. And thank you for the wonderful session on sustainable menstruation. I'm sure many of today's attendees will make the switch to either cloth pads or menstrual cups after today's webinar. I'd also like to thank Chief Guest Rotarian Nisha Bharath for her presence today. I especially want to thank Rotarian Smita Kulkarni, Rotarian Manoj Kabre, and Rotarian Raja Raman from Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Center for their efforts in organizing this wonderful session on green periods. Many thanks to all the partner clubs, Rotary Bangalore Uttarahalli, Rotary Bangalore Abilities, Rotary Pune Kalyani Nagar, Rotary Pune Katraj, Rotary Action Group MHHM, Rotract Shishu Mandir, Rotract Koramangala, Rotract Palmville, Rotract Vivadi Shakti, and Rotary Diwali Shakti, Rotary E-Club of Bangalore, and Rotary Bangalore Udyog. And last but not least, thank you to all the participants for joining us today and making this session a great success. Thanks again and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. So since today we know it was around menstrual hygiene, so we spoke about green periods. Next week we're going to have something about natural cleaners by another Smita Kamath. She's very, you know, the way me and all of us have been mostly in the waste circles, we have been working on reducing everyone's waste footprint. Smita has been instrumental, you know, in working towards reducing the chemical footprint, right from aapka soap, detergent, creams, body creams, mosquito repellent, whatever chemicals you use at your home. She's been striving to find alternatives which are chemical free, which are natural. When you say 100 nimboon ki shakti wala wheel, why not use the nimbu itself? Why use wheel, right? So things like that. So you'll get to know that next week for next week's Gnana Vidya, which is around the same time every Wednesday, 6:30. So thank you so much.
Smita ma'am, there is a question by my Rotractor. She wants to know the name of the brand that can be used for the cup.
So since me and Nisha both are manufacturers, both of us own different brands. It's kind of like conflict of interest if we actually tell something, but that's why.
No, but then you can tell both the brands, so she will decide.
Okay, so I'm from Stone Soup and Nisha is from Nariyari.
Nariyari, okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, joining us all the way from Rajasthan. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, my president is also there.
Nice to see you.
My president is also there. Nishi Pandit.
It's nice to see so many men today in the session. We're really happy that there are not whispering and we're actually talking about it. So it's a very pleasant change. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you, Manojji. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manoj, for inviting. Lovely session and very well moderated, Smita. Very nice.
Good job, Smita. Great job on moderation, and thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi, for doing this. This was a wonderful session.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Right.
We just need to upload the recording later, Smita. I don't know if Rajaram is here, but I think.
Actually, did he try doing live stream on YouTube? It was not possible, is it?
Yeah, Manoj, actually, I will get the link after this meeting and then I will upload it.
I think we have to stop the recording now, or?
Yeah, I think once we stop the meeting, automatically it will stop the